They was terrified of Suge Knight.
Right.
I mean, terrified.
The name of Suge Knight has always been associated with intimidation, fear, and total domination in the music industry. As back in the days, there wasn't a scarier man to mess with. However, despite all the terror that the music producer instilled in other rappers, there was one young fella who has never been scared of Suge and even was bold enough to stand up to the powerful music mogul. So, this is a story of how he survived the insane reign of Suge despite the possibility of getting hurt.
The paranoia from the experience of actually being hurt heightens your senses to everything, the possibilities of things happening.
Hi everyone and welcome back to Celeb Live Channel. So, the rumors about Suge Knight working on his way out of jail set the panic among the rappers in the hip-hop community, and knowing that this gangster used to basically run the streets in the past, almost everyone is not happy with him getting his freedom back. So, if you learn more about Suge's past, you'll quickly realize what a powerful and a dangerous man he was. Even his Wikipedia page describes him as a former record executive and convicted felon jailed for 28 years. So if there's any word that fellow rappers can use to describe Suge, this is the most feared man. This man has never tried to avoid his status of a real gangster in the industry. And if there's basically no person who had been thrown in jail more frequently than Suge. However, despite the total fear that many high-profile artists have for him, there's one person who has never been afraid to speak his mind and sincerely wonder what was so special about Suge that made people fear him so much. And yeah, you probably know that I'm talking about 50 Cent.
It changed, and they be like, Suge's outside, and everybody be like, yeah? What do you want? It changes a little bit, you know what I mean? Like,
well, during the time of his prime, Suge Knight earned a reputation for handling business conflicts for his music label with excessive force. The Death Row Records founder's first public instance of using alleged intimidation practices was a dispute with Vanilla Ice, and Ice even accused Knight of threatening his life.
I needed to wear a diaper on that day. I was very scared.
It all started pretty innocent with Suge accusing Vanilla Ice of taking full credit for a song he didn't write. And as Ice recalls, their dispute quickly turned violent. According to Ice, Knight and his bodyguard stormed his Beverly Hills hotel suite to demand money from the song Ice Ice Baby. And in the attempt to talk with Ice personally, Suge led him to the balcony, and it was 15 floors up. Guys?
He had me look over the edge, show me how high I was up there.
You scared?
And this is just of the most innocent examples of Suge's doings in the past. So no wonder why so many artists are happy to finally see him incarcerated for several decades, but apparently, the music mogul has enough connections inside and outside to make him a free man sooner or later. But among all these industry enemies, there is still 50 Cent, and there are allegations that it's the king of street terror, Suge Knight, who is up to this day afraid to cross the paths with the rapper because 50 has always been one step ahead of Suge.
I heard that 50 Cent used to have a bunch of dudes in the crowd kind of watching out for him.
Oh yeah. 50 had a thick crew.
Apparently, 50 Cent was playing with fire all his time because the whole world knows how violent and dangerous Suge could be. But unlike Knight, 50 was not just a gangster, but also a cautious person, and he made sure to protect himself from any form of mistreatment that was so widespread in the community. Despite the multiple controversies and not very humane methods of handling the business, Suge's label Death Row Records played a pivotal role in the rise of gangster rap in the 90s until its disgraceful fall. The label had signed some of the biggest names in hip-hop ranging from Tupac, Snoop Dogg, and Dr. Dre. Death Row sold more than 400 million albums globally, and every release was doomed to be a success. But even despite the insane success, it all fell apart for Death Row Records, with its top star dead, its business manager in jail, and all the money gone.
I think people assume that Suge had, hundreds of millions stashed away, but it wasn't true.
It seems like 50 saw that coming because you can't keep doing the same thing and expect to get away with so many crimes. And while Suge was so sure that he was untouchable, he now begins to realize how incautious he had been in the past. But even though the music mogul is currently in jail, old school fans remember how it was during his reign in the hip-hop community. As one person commented, everyone wants to act like they were tough and they weren't scared of Suge. At Suge's prime, no one wanted to mess with Suge. I witnessed the toughest guys tuck their tails when Suge would come around the clubs, and another user added, yeah, Suge was so tough and scary, he had to roll with 20-30 gang members everywhere he went, even when he went out to buy milk and bread. Well, Suge was up to his ears in numerous feuds and scandals, but the only man he couldn't influence was 50 Cent. The rapper made it big without Suge's help, and it happened at a time when gangsta rap was still smoking hot on the music scene. 50 has walked a difficult road to secure superstar status, and it seems like he owned his truth, and he swore to never dance to anyone's tune, no matter who was against him.
I was afraid and I was uncomfortable with being afraid, and the only time I wasn't afraid is when I was
Suge Knight has put fear into the bones of many artists, producers, and executives who foolishly questioned his authority, but 50 Cent was the only one to withstand the storm. And probably, if the music mogul managed to break free from his incarceration, he may take down a lot of people by simply opening his mouth and exposing the truth about their dirty deeds and wrongdoing. But here's one fact: he has nothing on 50, and it drives him nuts. Moreover, the currently incarcerated music mogul may secretly hate the rapper's guts because 50 made himself untouchable by always taking all necessary precautions.
It was like, yeah, we Fifth peoples. So Fifth had like some people in Detroit ready already.
Well, Suge Knight once wanted to end 50's career in his usual intimidating way. As Do 12's member Bizarre recalled, at the dawn of 50's rise to success, Suge made a surprise appearance on the set of In Day Club video shoot. And judging by Suge's entourage, it smelled like something bad is going to happen here. Knight arrived in his typical fashion without invitation as he owned the streets, and as it Bizarre recalls, the amount of handlers he had with him could scare even the toughest person in the world. And I was at the bar, gang was there, and they stopped and Suge came in with 30 Mexicans like you said, which is weird. And I just remember, Smurf for 50 was like, "What's up man, what you wanna do?" Suge was clearly there to show that young guy was the boss among the gangster rappers. And as Bizarre recalls Knight's behavior, it was super uncomfortable and even menacing, as if he wanted to order his entourage to prevent the shooting and harm everyone in the process. Suge looked at him and he took a puff of his cigar and he blew it out and he did like this and he left. Just some lay type stuff, intimidation type stuff. Apparently, Suge was confident that his reputation spoke better than his actions, so he merely hinted 50 to wrap the shooting up.
Shit like that, wrap it up, and then everybody just turned around and left. It was like a John Wayne movie or some shit.
However, 50 had enough of the hardships that made him stronger as a person, and he clearly didn't buy all these tricks with Cigar and the music mogul interrupting his work. Apparently, 50 Cent follows the motto of his own album title, "Get rich or die trying."
Suge's outside. Everybody like, it was running, dropping shit. Like, man, everybody going, I'm in front of the camera like this.
And it's not like he was afraid of this man crossing his path. The rapper actually thinks that the whole attempt of Suge Knight to threaten him looked kind of funny because it felt like an action movie or something. As many people say, 50 Cent got nerves of steel even back then, and he is definitely not afraid to face this guy again if he manages to come out of jail earlier than expected. Even more, it's said that 50 is laughing at Suge for being so reckless and believing that he could run the streets forever without any consequences. That may be one of the reasons why fans have huge respect for the rapper, because he's not that compliant chicken who is ready to dance to someone's tune. As one person commented after what 50 went through growing up, "I don't think anyone would ever intimidate, nor would he let anyone intimidate him." And another user added, "I never understood why some men are so intimidated by other men. We're all human. Anybody can be deleted, including brothas like Suge Knight. 50, a real one." Well, it seems like 50 Cent owned his narrative, and while other artists freak out by merely hearing Suge's name, he doesn't understand what the fuss is all about. Moreover, 50 learned how to protect himself from all kinds of dangers, and that's why no one can touch this legend, even the most powerful in the industry. And what do you reckon? Is 50 Cent the only one who can stand up to Suge? And is he happy that the music mogul may spend the rest of his days in jail? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm eager to know what you're thinking. And in the meantime, check my other videos about the celebrity feuds. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and I promise to be back very soon.